Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 3 of Conspiracy Theories with my awesome panel that I have here. As you know, this is the third video in the series, and we've covered such conspiracies such as 9/11, Building 7, is there a base on the dark side of the moon? The reptilians of the royal family and all those in power. All of these questions we've tried to face with three major ideals or three major motives. Is there a political motive? Is there a public motive or a societal motive? Or is there a monetary motive? So I would like to hand it over to Angels first. Please introduce yourself. What's your name? Where you come from?
Hi guys. Well, it's me. Obviously, quite a regular on Swiss's channel. Quite like my conspiracies, but understand that the majority of them are bullshit. But I did turn my camera on just so you could see my lovely tinfoil hat. But I'm not going to keep it on the whole time because A, my head's nearly exploding. And B, I have to hold my shitty phone up because I'm not on my laptop. So I will turn it off for now. But yeah, so that's me done. Hand over to Rowan.
Hi everyone. Here's me with my camera on and my tinfoil hat. As you can see, I might take it off in a sec. I look a bit dopey. So yes, hello.
They are so boiling as well.
Yeah, it's like insulation. But yeah, hello everyone. I'm gonna pass it on to Cameron.
Hello, I'm a occasional regular on streams, and I'm a bit of a fanatic about conspiracies. I know an awful lot about them, so I thought I'll give you a very interesting one.
Well, we shall see about that because Cameron is like Mr. David Icke fan himself.
Okay, so sorry. Now I'm gonna do. Yeah, we have to take off the bloody hat. Like you can see from my lack of head, it is absolutely. They do cook your head. Like if the TV doesn't cook your head, bloody hats will do. Stupid bloody things. Anyway, we are gonna make for the magic number, and the magic number is 14. Once we reach 14 watches, we are going to best toil. Bionic Bert asked for the best tinfoil hat award. I don't know, that's down to you guys in the side chat. What do you think? Okay, so everybody quick model your tinfoil hats again one more time.
Oh god, do I have to put mine back on?
Yeah, quickly.
Oh no. All right, hang on. Aren't they boiling? Like people don't realise how hot they actually are.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Can we get side views of them? Ooh.
Mine's like a skull.
Yeah, mine's got a little point on top because Champty had one and I was a bit jealous, so I remolded mine.
I think mine's just screwed up at the top. It couldn't be bothered to do anything.
Oh my god. There you go. There's mine.
I've got one vote from Shafted there, mate. Nice one. Yes, Cam's is invisible, so maybe he should get the vote for the best one. At least his brain's not being cooked.
Yeah, but they are like, aren't they? You can't keep them on for more than... like God. Literally, I'm sweating now. I only put it on for a minute.
It doesn't help this blistering fucking summer we're having.
I know.
It is hot. It is hot.
Yeah, I always win top trumps on hot. You know? Oh, how high is it actually? Let's see. 28 degrees. Oh.
Yeah, but your humidity over there has things like 68% and stuff. Like absolutely ridiculous.
80% hitting now. Oh, that's a record. Yes, I've got my aircon blaring. All right, we're still at 10. Fuck it. Shall we just go? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Okay. So, like I said, we're going to judge our conspiracies on 3 motives. It doesn't have to tick all 3 boxes, but if it has a good case for at least one of them, then we'll judge it on 1 or 2 thumbs up on each panelist. So, the first one: is there a political motive? Is there a financial motive or a monetary motive, or is there a societal motive? Okay. With that in mind, I'm going to pass directly to Angels, who's going to take us through our first conspiracy.
Yep. Okay, so I am going to kick off with. I'm sorry I haven't kept my camera on, by the way. Like I said, I'm on my phone, so I can't just hold it the whole time. But we're going to kick off with my conspiracy, which is MH370. So the Malaysia Airlines flight, the 777 that went missing. I'm just getting the article up right now. Right, so seem to be. Actually, sorry, can I change articles? Same theory, but I want to change articles because I've just seen that there's an update 1 day ago, which I hadn't seen.
Ooh,
right.
interesting.
Yeah.
Quite
There
juicy.
we go. There we go.
Okay.
Breaking news here.
Yeah, breaking news on Chamchi Gimbat's channel. So a conspiracy theorist, it says in the very sort of well-known and great source, which is the Daily Mirror, says flight MH370 conspiracy theorist has apparently spotted underwater plane on Google Maps, and claims that it's the missing jet. Yeah, in the Indian Ocean.
How do you spot underwater planes on Google Maps?
This is what I'm not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read out a bit of the article, because I don't know myself. A conspiracy theorist claims he may have found missing flight MH370 on Google Maps. An outline of a plane, which the theorist suggests could be underwater, has been posted online after he undertook a computer search of waters off the coast of Padang in Indonesia. The location is around an hour's flight from where the MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia in March 2014. The post's unnamed author, publishing on worldnews.com, said the plane could be underwater and therefore could be MH370. However, he could not rule out the possibility of it simply being another plane coming into land. This is good old Daily Mirror.
The shadow of a plane.
The conspiracy theorist wrote, just putting this out there, what if it was the MH370 this entire time?
If it was, I think they would have found it. Go back to your original article, anyway.
So, yeah. All right, just a second. So, yeah, as you all know, MH370, the Malaysia Airlines flight that literally vanished. So it was, it had normal sort of connection with, back and forth with wherever it was flying to. So, like, the communications were all on, etc. There was nothing out of the ordinary. And then all of it, this was in 2014. There was about 230 odd people, I think, 230, 240 people on the flight. It was a Boeing 777 Malaysia Airlines. And after the pilot had sort of signed off from a certain thing and everything was going normally, suddenly all communication ceased. So, like, basically none of the communication stuff, it was essentially manually switched off, which is really unusual. But then the plane was tracked militarily, so military tracking was on it. It tracked it all around sort of its normal flight path, and then it tracked it taking a sudden diversion, very, very sort of sharp left, doing almost like a 180, but not quite, and then flying basically over the Indian Ocean, which was never its intended flight path. And after that, it went off the radar entirely and literally disappeared. So for ages, they couldn't get in touch with it. Obviously, there were relatives at the airport sort of absolutely beside themselves, understandably. They had no idea, the authorities had no idea how to sort of report it, because obviously being that it quite literally vanished. there was no crash site found. The only debris that's been found, to my knowledge, so far is parts of wreckage in various locations, but not in one particular, and also aren't necessarily that plane. So they can't actually prove that the wreckage that they found so far is from that. So they don't know. They strongly suspect that it's basically it essentially crashed in the Indian Ocean somewhere. But the strangest thing about it is, usually after a crash of that sort of multitude, you'd have wreckage, certainly floating wreckage, and stuff that's easily identifiable from search boats and search helicopters and all of this. But there was nothing. So it was almost literally like a huge 777 disappeared into thin air, essentially. So there's and because that's so unusual, because you obviously, as you guys know, after a plane crash, there's usually wreckage of some sort. It still has not been identified as to where exactly it is. So there's a multitude of conspiracy theories about this. So the first one, which I think is the most likely, so the first one is that the pilot, because the pilot was a very, very skilled pilot in himself, it's also worth mentioning he had a flight simulator at home, and that he had deleted some saved routes, some of which they think may have been the route that the plane was taken in. So that would be quite a strong theory as to the fact that maybe it was like a suicide, like a murder-suicide. However, he didn't have, according to his family, any history of like mental illness or, depression or anything like that. So it would be highly unlikely that he would all of a sudden, change the course. And also, what then with the co-pilot? Did he kill the co-pilot? What happened? That's one theory.
Can I just mention that Adam West said the plane could have got shot down. Now, I don't think that would have been the case, because there was a plane shot down later on, wasn't there? And there was, and there are certain alarms in place to have. So that's why it was.
But also that's the whole thing. When planes are shot down, the debris would be much more identifiable. And remember, like, if there's floating debris, a lot of for example, the plane seats, luggage, things like that, like the life sort of jacket parts of planes and stuff, the stuff under the seat, usually floats and is very identifiable when the search is carried out. And of course, the search was carried out immediately because it essentially disappeared. They had no idea what had happened to it. So the fact that there was no floating wreckage is odd in itself. Yeah.
It sounds a bit like it sounds a bit like the Bermuda Triangle, and how like loads of missing or planes have gone missing in that particular stretch of ocean.
In that particular area. But
for no reason,
because they don't. So all of the places they searched so far, they have not been successful in finding it. Whether that be, a wreckage of some type. But the theory with the pilot, by the way, was also that because he knew how to land planes well, that he knew how to water land as well. And so, that he might have done that over the ocean or something.
So is your conspiracy, was the pilot responsible for the disappearance of MH370? Was that the flight number, MH370? Sorry. Yes, Malaysia Airlines flight 370. So is your conspiracy, was the pilot responsible, or just what the fuck is that all about? That was a question, by the way. Angels, you're on mute, just in case you didn't know. Oh, she's dropped. So, well, it's blatantly aliens, isn't it? I mean, let's face it.
Well, what spooks? Trying to silence her.
Yeah, it could be the spooks, man.
But
something's going on.
There's something that they don't want you to know.
Yeah.
But you know what seems to be interesting about all this? I saw a conspiracy on the Navy forums about this. What, the claim was that the plane basically had the same fate as the Emirates Earhart. Well, what they said is that they abducted the Thai flight aliens, basically.
It wasn't Thai, Malaysian, by the way.
Yeah.
Malaysian Airlines.
Yeah, no. So the claim was it got abducted, and the population. There's a theory that the Bermuda Triangle is a portal to another. Bear with me on this. To another dimension. That's what they claim. They claim there's a similar triangle between Japan, Philippines, and Indonesia.
I'd be inclined to believe that though, because like there's over the past centuries, there's been so many people like planes going missing, and like just disappearing, like radar cutting out, radio cutting out, and then just leaving absolutely no trace. And you can't like it's completely unexplainable. Like there's no, where did they go? Like they couldn't have run out of petrol and like landed somewhere else, like because they just never found. And you get to a point where it's like if you can't explain anything else, then you just have to go another dimension. They went into another dimension and never returned.
Yeah, aliens, mate. It's blatant.
The thing is, at this point, you can't prove that wrong.
Yeah.
You don't know for certain. It's this weird portal. I think I remember the name now. It's called the Midway Triangle between the Japan, Philippines,
and
Indonesia, and
in
the middle is the island for Midway.
Isn't it it's not like Miami, the Philippines, and the Bahamas.
Oh,
that's right.
You talk about the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah.
This is another one in Asia. But
right.
Calling people, it's maybe some sort of portal and take somewhere else. And according to some people, there's a guy called Stuart Stirler who says these portals are where aliens get go to part of the planet, and they use these portals to going out. And so the possibility, like, he's gone through this portal. I mean, it's far fetched, but this theory is out there.
Yeah.
Another one is abducted by UFOs. There's a theory that Emily Hale got abducted by, not by UFO, but by a secret space program for a test. And the same thing could happen to the flight. But I know the far-fetched was a theories anyway.
It's really fucking scary.
In what way?
That an airplane with today's technology, right? Granted, it wasn't. I mean, this airplane was like, it was a 777, so it wasn't. It wasn't the newest airplane, but the tech on the ground level would have been able to cover the lack of tech on the plane. That a plane could just disappear like that,
Yeah.
And there's no closure for anybody that was on the plane. There's no closure for the pilots. There's no, like, nobody knows exactly what the fuck happened to the plane. It's really scary shit. Here's another scary thing, right? Is that this is kind of anecdotal, right? That's the year I actually flew to Kuala Lumpur via Malaysian Airlines. And what happened a couple of months later, a plane was actually shot down over Ukraine. Granted, that was a war zone, and that plane shouldn't have been in there. And that's oh god, Bionic just said something that really made me laugh. MH370 stuck in Angel's Time, lost forever. Maybe. She said she will be back. She's having technical issues, by the way. So I actually flew to Kuala Lumpur via Malaysia Airlines, and they lost 2 flights that, like, within the space of 6 months. in the space of 3-4 months, I think it was. If you think Malaysia Airline 370 went down didn't go down. We don't know what happened to it. Don't know if it's destroyed. It could just pop out of nothingness and just like nothing's happened. 8th of March 2014. When was Malaysian Airlines shut down over Ukraine?
Oh, yeah.
And then you have Flight 17, which was 17th of July. Okay? So a month later, I flew Malaysia Airlines. Literally a month later. So,
Wow.
yeah.
I don't know what happens to those people, those poor people. Like, if you imagine like the families of these people that have to just live with like not even getting any closure from the fact that their family members have just disappeared.
Indeed.
But it's strange.
Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to put this on hold for an addendum once Angels gets back. Cameron, how do you feel about taking on yours now?
Yeah, if you want. So there's big questions about the origin of the human race. And I think I should address the theories about this and our relationship in the solar system. Now, a big question for many people on the internet, many theorists, many scholars, is our own psyche, in a way, is that our own origins. So, firstly, do you believe there was an ancient civilization on the planet Mars? And do you think it was human? Now, that's maybe a bit crazy, but there's something to this. Now, I saw some. This is quite a big. I've probably gone for a long time on this, but it's quite a big deal as he's gone to. So, firstly, what is a human biological clock? And how long that is? It's not 24 hours. 25 hours, right? Now, that's the same as the orbit of a day of Mars, basically. And there's also this: humans are human bodies are generally weaker compared to most animals in the same build. You've got chimpanzees, orangutans, generally weak. If you're a fitness fanatic and you're take steroids and you bulk up, you're still generally weaker than most animals to your same build around it. Now, the thing about this is human bodies are actually designed for lower gravity conditions. This is the idea that some people put forward. We don't run that fast, or we're slow, we struggle to climb trees, even though, according to evolution theory, our ancestors did it very often. And this is the idea behind it. We don't jump very high. Physically, we're not as adept as what's around us. There's also the fact that humans, unlike animals, can't just go out in the fields and survive. I've had everything you need around you. We basically have to physically do using ways to do things. The animals can eat some grass, but we just can't. We have to physically use brains to come.
Well, hang on. Welcome back, Angels.
Thank you. Sorry about that. My internet cut out.
Okay. So Cameron's just talking about the origins of the human race and whether they originated from Mars or not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. So, some theories, let's say we'll put David Dyke, who claim that specifically, not all humans though, specifically the white Aryans come from Mars, who Mars was destroyed by a cataclysm, which, according to some theories like John Brandenburg, David Dyke, Zachary Sitchin, basically come out with the idea that Mars was the same conditions as Earth, basically a civilization like we have now. And we have all theorists. There's a guy called the name is Simon Park. That's it. And he claims that the god Ian is actually Mars. Humans were basically thrown out because they destroyed it. But it's a like forbidden fruit was a start a metaphor. We've got forbidden knowledge, we basically destroyed stuff. There's also the guy called John Vandenberg claims that Mars was destroyed by a nuclear war. The reason for this is that the Martian surface has high radioactive. It has the same chemicals called boron. It's got something called andesite, which is associated with nuclear explosions in the atmosphere, which is extremely present on Mars. And the theory is that Mars was devastated in the atmosphere. The nuclear explosion in the atmosphere basically ripped most atmosphere away, and basically that's the situation we have now on the planet. So you have an atmosphere that can insert heat, so it gets cold. And this is the idea of the planet Mars. Now, if we look at the surface as well, there's evidence of the flowing of water, evidence of
there is actually,
yeah, evidence of water flowing, evidence water on the ground. There's evidence of that. There's water in the ice caps, and the temperatures on Mars and the equator are very well. They go above freezing regularly.
Yeah.
Mars is technically in the Goldilocks zone, and this is of it. There's also other. Go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I don't know whether I buy into this though. Like, it's one of those theories that, like, I love a good conspiracy, but like, I can't like, I don't know whether.
How if that were the case, how then would humans have transported themselves from Mars to Earth or a different planet?
Interestingly, if we look at I forgot what's called now, but there's this text in ancient India. Ancient. The name just got my mind, but
Aramaic.
Yeah, maybe. But it describes what we see as a war above the ground. The stories from Plato and Atlantis, who allude to a high-tech civilization. The stories of Lumania and Mu, that allude to high-tech civilization. The stories in the Bible of the destruction on Earth, which coincide of the same time period. According to people like David Icke, that Mars was basically devastated. There's also evidence of ancient ruins of Mars. And I actually got some pictures I could show, if you want to show.
Yeah, go on.
Right, I can screen share some things. Hopefully it'll work on Mac's work.
Or it could be aliens.
Here's the thing. John Vandenberg thinks that aliens destroyed the Martian civilization.
Yeah.
Right, I'll screen.
It's locked to you, mate. So the platform's yours.
Yeah. Right, can you see this? Can you see it?
Yeah.
This is one of the images they got, which doesn't look like a natural made object. As you can see, it looks like some sort of. It looks like a traffic light a bit, but it's one of the.
It looks like is it made of like stone or something? Or
that's what it appears like. Yeah. You can see the tracks of the rovers around there. Well, that's the main one. The big ones are a bit blur. This is the region of Sardinia. This is what interests a lot of theorists. Because this is where you get a lot of interesting objects, right? So, here you go. What's this here? This is the face of Mars.
Wasn't this like pyramids of Mars? Yeah.
That looks like a face.
Yeah.
That's the famous face of Mars, right? And these objects here. Now, look very carefully. These meant to be pyramid-like objects. You can look here very carefully. It looks a bit.
Are these like really magnified pictures?
Yeah, some are. Now, picture of the face. Now, this is the original picture. This is the other picture recently, and that's after. Now, according to Stuart Sterler, there was a secret space program, and there's an active cover-up, basically. They didn't want the truth to come out about Mars, so they basically bombed it. Which is the idea that to cover the evidence.
Who bombed it? Like, when did we have the technology to bomb Mars?
Well, secret technology. No, there was agreements according to that. Most conspiracies all agree with this agreement. In the 1940s, late 1940s, between the Great Aliens and the US government. They basically agree. The Great Aliens basically agree, right? We'll give you technology, but you have to let us abduct humans, and that was the agreement. So
What?
government,
That sounds so far fetched.
I know it does, but before 1940s, right? How many
Yeah.
alien abductions were there reported? How many UFO sightings reported? This is the thing. Now, here's a picture of the face of Mars here. So this is the original picture. But looks like a human face.
Yeah.
And the idea is it's been bombed, cockpit bomb.
Wow.
And it's not just this. And there's also theory that the Martians, basically, call it David Icke, the white Aryan race, settled in 3 places. The Caucasus, which according to him is the name of the Caucasian people came from. Another area is Mesopotamia, where Babylon and Sumer were founded. And another area is Egypt. Now, right, where's this? Now this was on the surface of Mars, and this is a photo from NASA. This is comparison to the Sphinx.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Sphinx is something that's meant to be about according to Georges, the Sphinx must be about over 100,000 years old. As Georges will go up there and look at the erosion and say that's it. And this coincides with basically the idea that Mars was destroyed, and the idea that Martians settled in ancient Egypt. As you can see,
there is another guy that you didn't mention, Cameron, and that's Graham Hancock's in The Magicians of the Gods. He does actually say that there was some kind of cataclysm of some kind, and they say that there were magicians that taught the human race of how to do megalithic architecture, and that the human race has some kind of amnesia.
I'm no way getting that, and they're no magicians according to these people. That's just the route to say that. Now these magicians, every time when you talk about these people, they always say people will come from the stars, and they'll say that there's also a lot of reference to serpents.
Yeah.
And so and these these creatures were involved in Mars. The reason why there's humans on Mars, think about it. Now I talked about the last time about humans being actually artificially manipulated from another species and made. So what's stopping humans being on the surface of Mars when our bodies are maybe not suited for the planet Earth? Because we're a unique species. I mean, there's a missing link.
But my question would be like, how would you know that our bodies are 25 hour and not 24 hour?
Right, you can look this up. Our body, particularly Europeans, actually, compared to anyone else, but the inside body clock is suited for 25-hour days rather than a 24-hour day. That's the point I'm trying to say. There's another image on the planet Mars. Now what's this? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Pyramid. Yeah.
Pyramid. Yes. Now what natural phenomenon will create that?
No. Nature doesn't generally work in precise angles, especially like that.
This is the point. I mean, there's a lot of dodgy stuff on the image on the surface, and it really raises suspicion. Now, you got to think, why would this be covered up? Now, the guy, right, and there was a guy in
which motive are you going to go through? Are you going to go for a social motive, a political,
social and political?
Social political, okay.
Both, yes. And there's another image here. Right, there's an interesting one here I haven't focused on. So this is basically a black and white image from space. As you can see, it's very angular. It's very. When you see ancient ruins, when you see the foundations in a building, It's too much like that, which is why I put it on. It's completely unusual, and it suggests some sort of intelligent design.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, why is this angle like this?
Mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
something else. What national phenomenon would have done it? I mean, if you look at Earth, look at flows of water. You don't form squares like that, or it's crazy.
Okay. Cameron.
Yeah.
Restate
Yes.
your question. And then we'll give it our 2 thumbs up. And we'll see if it applies to our motives and if we agree, 1 or 2. And then we'll see how we get on with your conspiracy theory. So restate your question.
All right. So is there a possibility there was a present civilization on Mars? And was Mars is there an association Mars of the history of the human race that something we just don't know about?
That's a great question. Angels,
I'd say a possibility, yes.
does it get a 2 thumbs up?
Yeah, I do think so, because I think who are we to like, we wouldn't know, would we? So I think there is a possibility. Yes, 2 thumbs up.
Okay, I'll go next, and I'll say this is something that I'm intrigued with, and I'm intrigued with Graham Hancock's idea that we are a civilization with memory loss, essentially, and there are definitely things on this Earth. We don't need to go to Mars to see things that are unexplained. Göbekli Tepe in Turkey is something that really blows my mind. Megalithic structures dated, thousands of years before, even the agricultural revolution is said to have taken place. So, how would we have major stone architectural design know-how in those times? And there has to be some kind of influence. Aside from the Younger Dryas, which he explains is a major event. So, definitely. There could be some alien influence, definitely. And he does explain that that Mars does have the characteristics of a planet that's gone through some kind of major catastrophe. So on me, gives 2 thumbs up. I think that's brilliant. Nice one, Cameron. What do you think, Rowan?
I mean, I think you've twisted my arm slightly, Cameron. I think that there's like, I was skeptical when you first started talking about it. I was like, really? Oh my god, this sounds ridiculous. But I think from the pictures that you've just shown and like how you explained it, I think there's enough evidence to sort of suggest that there was some sort of alternate civilization that has been there before, or at least the presence of something, or like some living like community or organization. I mean, like as you said, like the like pyramids and the like shapes of certain rocks and foundations of the planet, like I think it's too much to be coincidence. So yeah, I'd say, like, I can't really, we don't have evidence enough to explain what it is or like how it got there, but I think 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, well done. So sadly, due to technical issues, we were sadly had to abandon Angels. But Angels, do you want to try and pick up where you left off? Do you remember where you left off, and then you can pick it up now? Because we were left to kind of guess where you were going. Angels. Oh my god. Okay, so Rowan, do you want to jump into yours then?
Yeah, actually, yeah. Okay. My conspiracy theory is the JFK one. Asking the question, was President Kennedy assassinated by a lone shooter, or were there more people involved?
Okay,
That's
so the
my
idea
take.
is that there were actually 3 shooters involved. There was one in the
Yeah.
library, and there were 2 behind the grassy knoll, as it were.
Grassy knoll. That's it. Yeah.
Is that right? Was there
I
2?
think that's pretty much the basics of it. But however, saying this now in hindsight, last year I think it was October, there were documents that were released that of the documents of the actual shooting itself and what happened subsequently afterwards, which I think sheds more light on actually what happened. And the whole reason why it was a news story last year was because the US government was a bit dubious, like didn't really want to release the papers for whatever reason. So yeah, the main story of like why it's such a conspiracy theory is because for a long time a lot of people thought that there was only one shooter who shot the president along with his sort of government advisor, um, and so his name was Lee Harvey Oswald, who was then shot 2 days later whilst being transferred to another prison facility by a guy called Jack Ruby. But there were various things that happened during the day of the shooting that make people think otherwise. For example, the presence of a man with a black umbrella who was standing in the crowd just before or during and just before the shooting happened, and it's perceived that he was sort of giving out sort of coded secret messages to like other possible shooters in the crowd, to like give the okay to start shooting. So I've got an article up that sort of explains it a little bit more, better than I can anyway. So what am I looking at? So it's believed that, well, there are a few ideas of who it was that was behind the shooting and why they would want to shoot the president. So one is that it's a government, like an inside job that was done by the CIA in accordance with the mafia, because of Kennedy being is it anti is during a few years after Castro was the Castro revolution in Cuba. So many people think that it was to do with sort of being anti-Castro and right wing, and also because right wingers in the US government wanted to get rid of Kennedy, who was obviously a Democrat at the time. So that's another explanation.
The de-escalation of Vietnam was another one.
Yeah, and how badly handled the Bay of Pigs was
which links
during
back to Cuba.
Yeah. So I'll just read out a small snippet of article. It says, more than 50 years after President Kennedy was assassinated, the majority of Americans apparently believe in a conspiracy theory about his death. There are reports that 61% of people think Kennedy's death, but this week could bring some closure to these theories. And then, as I said, last year there were some classified documents pertaining to the murder that were going to be made public. So you can talk about the grassy knoll. So it says in 1964, the Warren Commission concluded that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone and that Jack Ruby also acted alone when he killed Oswald 2 days later. But most people don't seem to accept that this assassination was the work of a lone gunman. The House of Representatives may be partially to blame for this enduring conspiracy, as well as reinvestigating JFK's killing, as well as Martin Luther King Jr. concluded that there was probably a second shooter on the grassy knoll, a hill that overlooked the site where Kennedy was assassinated. So there's the theory of the umbrella man. So why would someone be carrying an umbrella on a really hot sunny day in 1963? Clearly, people who believe the umbrella man conspiracy never got sunburn. Louis Stephen Wick carried a black umbrella with him to Dealey Plaza on November 22nd, 1963, and was caught in the famed Zapruder film, raising it into the air as Kennedy's car drove past. Some have claimed he was giving a signal, others think that he could have shot a poison dart from the umbrella. And another theory is that it was a mob hit by, as I said, the mafia. So it says some believe the mafia helped JFK steal the election in 1960 by securing votes in the key state of Illinois. However, another conspiracy theory has the political dynasty at odds with the mob. This theory hinges on the fact that Kennedy was unsuccessful in overthrowing Fidel Castro in Cuba, meaning the mafia-run casinos remained shut down, and that his brother Robert Kennedy was cracking down on the mob in his role as Attorney General, pursuing a case against Jimmy Hoffa. And then the other theory is that the government did it. So perhaps the most frightening theory in circulation is that the Kennedy assassination was an inside job. According to biographer Phillips Shannon, that was Bobby's first thought. Apparently, Bobby Kennedy's first suspicion was that it was some rogue element in the CIA. However, a meeting with CIA Director John McCone, Kennedy changed his mind. The public was harder to sway. Of course, an organization that is shrouded in secrecy and has a motive. CIA leaders were notably angry with Kennedy over the Bay of Pigs invasion. Is always going to be suspect, but organization maintains it had nothing to do with the crime. While the CIA conspiracy theories make good fodder for movies, they are pure fiction, said CIA spokesman Edward Price. Other insider assassination theories have included a story that William Greer, the driver of the president's car, turned around and shot JFK, a premise based on a poor copy of the Zapruder film. So yeah, the Zapruder film was the film that caught everything happening, from like the motor car traveling down the road and the crowds and the open top back car that was obviously carrying the president and his wife and others. So yeah, that's pretty much the theory, or theories at the very least.
Well, the great thing about the how do I stop? Just stop doing the thing. Just stop. Just turn off. Just go away. Okay, cool. Okay, stop. Okay. So the great thing about the JFK thing, when we talk about social, political, or financial, you know, it always ticks all three boxes. You know.
Yeah.
Can you still hear me, by the way? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that's the great thing. So it doesn't matter which particular conspiracy theory you choose. It is quite interesting. Now, I know Welsh after pointed out in the side stream a while ago is that he did do a rather brilliant speech about calling out, you know, about secret societies and what you know, quote unquote Illuminati, which has been known by later on. I think it encapsulates a couple of these conspiracies. You know, it was the CIA in they were working on under instructions of the Illuminati and for the crimes of calling them out and de-escalating the war machine that was at the time waging war on an ideological war, really, in Vietnam. And there was no reason that it should have lasted for 10 years. I mean, let's face it, fuck's sake. What was going on there at the time? There is actually a rather brilliant documentary on Netflix at the moment, and it's like, what, 10, 11, 12 hours long. They give like an hour to it each year. It tells you how fucking intense it is. like with interviews from both sides on Netflix, and it's rather good. I binge watched it in about 3 days, man. It was crazy. But yeah, from me, personally, from my research, yeah, 2 thumbs up on this one. Well done, Rowan. That's a great one.
Yeah. There's also another theory that the KGB were involved, and it was a lot of it was to do with Khrushchev and the Soviet Union. Basically, because of the Cuban Missile Crisis, which happened, I think, it was a year before, a couple of years before. Yeah, that Kennedy sort of made Khrushchev take his ballistic missiles away from Cuba, and it was sort of like a directed, like, revenge assassination, perhaps. And yeah, there's loads of different theories that are involved in this, but I mean, I think now that the documents about what happened have been released, I think there's much more of a cemented view of like the reality of the event, based on what, well, never believe what the government tell you, but yeah, at least it's written down. So yeah.
Cameron, what do you think?
Well, I'm definitely going to give 2 thumbs up to this because I can't see any reason why it's not. It's all very suspicious and dodgy. I think the CIA had something to do with it. I can't see a way around it.
Yeah, which were acting under instructions for the people that own, massive, industrial complex, like Halliburton.
Yeah. Deep state.
Yeah, yeah.
There's all sorts about this. Yeah, like theories on this go as far as saying that he disclose extraterrestrials. Well, he goes that far.
I mean, there's definitely a reason why public approval of a president goes up when they decide to go to war.
And it goes down when they try to de-escalate it, especially when essentially, when he tries to de-escalate, America were essentially losing the war. There was no way they were ever going to win it. And they, by point of fact, they actually lost the war, right? And you know this. If you travel to Vietnam today, Saigon is not Saigon. Saigon is Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah, they lost the war, whether they like it or not. Now, it's written in the history books in the West that it was a score draw essentially. But no. Sorry, they lost the war.
I mean, to all intents and purposes, it was fairly pointless to begin with.
It was.
Like all this fake propaganda, which is what it was, like the whole Wham campaign. Wham! Of
winning out.
But clearly, like filming and reporting stuff that, like, making out like it was an amazing success when it clearly wasn't.
Oh, dude, addressing Well Shaft, yes, Ho Chi Minh. You go to Hanoi, which is actually in the north of Vietnam, and they love Ho Chi Minh. Uncle Ho Chi Minh, it's still a legend. And honestly, go to that city if you're even vaguely a communist. Like, go there, man. The communists did win. Yes, you're right. The only thing that actually ate them from the inside out was the corruption. And this is the problem with a single socialist state. They just can't survive the corruption. Again, dressing well shafted. I picked up loads of communist propaganda when I was there. I love that shit. But anyway, that's again just besides. But go well shafted if you ever get the chance. Don't go to Ho Chi Minh. It's fucking well dodgy. But go to Hanoi in the north. It's a wicked. It's fucking insane, but it's a great city. Great city. But yeah, well done. That's a great conspiracy. Loved it. Loved it. All right, now I suppose that leaves me then, doesn't it? Right, mine's a bit more up to date. Actually,
Okay.
bang up to date. So my question is, let me just get my shit together. My question is, does the Israeli government have far too much influence over Parliament? Okay, so I'm not talking about a certain party. I'm talking about all parties through their lobby groups and through certain MPs on both sides of the aisle, in opposition and in government. Do they have influence over decision making and the way they conduct business? That is my question. Okay.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
It is indeed. Now, where do I start with this? Okay, obviously, we've seen the continued smear campaign with Jeremy Corbyn.
Jazza.
Jezza, yeah, old Uncle Jezza. Now, I don't want to make this party political, right? All I can say is my sources come from the lobby, which was broadcast in Al Jazeera. What was it? About this time last year, so about a year ago. Okay. I also looked at the Priti Patel situation, which was quite interesting. Okay. And if you actually do some a little bit of research, maybe it's not so much of a conspiracy anymore, but it is absolutely incredible that we have a foreign government interfering with the way we do politics in the UK, when everybody's focused on everybody's focused on Russia, Trump. Why aren't we talking about Israel and how Israel has essentially, or the UK government, sorry, not government, the UK Parliament has essentially made an entire peoples invisible with regards to the Palestinians. You saw what happened in the demonstration when the Palestinians were demonstrating on their borders, and they were throwing stones and they were shouting things, and then there was essentially a massacre. Okay. Now, what we saw at the time was, in response to this, is the Israeli government using sniper rifles and shooting people en masse, including women and children. Right. Now they know, and we know they know, that these women and children are not Hezbollah. Right? We know that. Yet there was enough condemnation of. There was supposed to be a balanced view, so there was enough condemnation on both sides. Okay, it's fair enough. Just to give you an idea of how many groups that the Israeli embassy, and by extension Israel, and the government have control of. Obviously, you have the CFI and the LFI, the Fabian Society, We Believe in Israel, Conservative Future, BCOM, Sussex Friends of Israel, just to name a few lobby groups that work through government right now. Okay. Now, there was a confession, wasn't really a confession, it was caught on video by the lobby, which was the documentary broadcast by Al Jazeera. He was talking about the LFI, and they say when talking about the Israeli embassy, he's like, we work really closely together, and I quote, we work really close together, but a lot of it is behind the scenes because they don't want us to see as an extension of the Israeli lobby. Now, I'm sorry, but that is too close for comfort. Now, of course, you also have this one character that was portrayed throughout the entire thing, this shy Massot, okay, through the broadcast was actually sacked by the Israeli lobby in the UK, the Israeli embassy in the UK, and forced to go back to Israel following the broadcast of the lobby. Okay, so generally what happens is the Israeli embassy will approach any one of these groups, such as the Fabian Society or the CFI or the LFI, and they'll say, okay, so you guys are friends of Israel. We can arrange for you. You know, you can go to Israel. You can chill out there for a bit and meet everybody there. Also, what we can do is, if there's some bad press that comes out about Israel, is we can give you an idea of how to, you know, deal with the press with these issues, such as what happened with the massacre and the demonstration a month or two ago. Okay. Now, obviously, we can look at how Jeremy Corbyn's very outspoken pro-Palestinian rights, and we can also look at how they wanted to take down. I've forgotten the MP now. I've got it here somewhere. Philip Davis. No, not Philip Davis. Sorry, that was an old link. Sorry, I've lost it now. But anyway, we can look at Priti Patel, how she was in Israel, apparently on vacation. Yet she was in Israel for 12 days, and she held 12 meetings within Israel. I mean, this is a member, a Secretary of State, by the way. She held 12 meetings in 12 days whilst on vacation, including with Benjamin Netanyahu. So my question to you is, do you think that the Israeli government, the current Israeli government under Benjamin Netanyahu, has an influence in decision making in the way ministers act in their duties?
I'd say that there's definite evidence to suggest that the MPs in Parliament are definitely in cahoots with Israeli ministers. Does someone have like the YouTube link audio on? Because I'm hearing feedback, by the way.
No, it's you.
Is it me?
Yeah, I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I was just gonna make a comment as well that I think there's a definite sort of bias towards Israel in that if you're in any way pro-Palestine or anti-Israel, you're perceived as being anti-Semitic somehow, and suddenly you're a huge enemy of Jewish people in general, and you're not allowed to say anything against the Israeli government, the Jewish community within Israel as a whole, and you know any sort of criticism is seen as, you know, being discriminatory towards the Jewish community. And I think what you also brought up about Priti Patel and her visit to Israel, where she sort of pretended she was on holiday whilst at the same time holding these meetings, I mean, that's dubious in itself. Like, you can't, you know, go somewhere and say that you're on holiday when you're actually not, and you're doing, you know, that sets you up for, you know, making yourself seem very, you know, not very trustworthy, and like you're wanting to do, like, she was probably doing deals on behalf of the UK government, but the UK government decided to like make themselves look like the better person. But you know, we all know that they're not to be trusted. So yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think definite scope for, you know, some sort of relationship.
What do you think, Cameron?
I saw Sun's own influence compared to any other lobby group in Parliament. I can't see any other state other than that states has so much influence. All right, I hear a lot of feedback, by the way. But
Huh?
sorry, I said I hear a lot of feedback, but I think it's fine now. But compared to any other country, for its size, for its economy, it is very proportional. But Britain has always been very close to Israel since its foundation. Of course, it was a British state that created Israel when it became independent in 1947, 48, but so it was Britain that sounding powerful. So Israel's always had a connection to the British state. So I would say there's an influence, got a great influence in factor.
Do you not think it's weird that the most prominent figures of the LFI are the most vocal critics of Corbyn?
It is. There's a power between it, yes.
Yeah.
Joan Ryan came out today. 21st. Sorry, not today. Saying that she's disgusted with Jeremy Corbyn when she is the chair of the LFI, right? But just days after the massacre, sorry, I can't. I with a clear conscience, I can't call it anything else. Like that happened on the Gaza Strip, where they were shooting people with sniper rifles and assault rifles. They were having, within days, they were having drinks in Jerusalem on the money of the Israeli embassy or the Israeli government. And there are photos of this. I'm just about to.
I mean, I do think that it's noticeable that every time something like this happens, I mean, you can compare it to the Saudi Arabian government a little bit, in that we're obviously supporting them, but we don't want to make too much of it because obviously it's a terrible thing to be happening and it's a really dodgy deal in itself. But there's not nearly enough condemnation when, as you were talking about, the massacre of the Palestinian people by Israeli government. It never gets condemned like to a bigger degree, and that's what's frustrating. Because if you don't condemn something enough, then it almost looks like you're supporting it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Since all this shit has come out, I'm wholeheartedly pro-Palestinian, and I think if I was Palestinian, I would probably be a part of Hamas, and I have no apologies for that. And the fact, I mean, there are people on both sides of the aisle that should be ashamed of themselves, you know. And this is something that is infecting, as far as I can see. Like I said, the reason it becomes a conspiracy because I have no real fucking evidence, you know. the person that I was thinking about earlier is oh gosh, fucking hell, Sir Alan Duncan MP. It was in 2015. He said, "Why can't the UK government recognise Palestine as a
Nation state?
Yeah, a nation state." He said that in 1950, the UK government recognised Israel, even though they had no borders and they had no capital city. We still recognised them as a nation state. Now, Shai Matot on video said, "We need to take him down," and this was in 2017, right? Now,
take who down?
Sir Alan Duncan MP, who was Deputy Foreign Secretary under Boris Johnson at the time. "We need to take him down," was his words. And yeah, it's absolutely atrocious. You know, that they should have this influence within our workings of parliamentary process, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think there's more than one guilty party, and it's not just Israel. It's Iran, it's Saudi Arabia, it's Russia.
Indeed, it's
other dodgy.
It's crazy, right? And the crazy thing is, there was this other guy called Michael Rubin who was the one that was saying that. Honestly, check this guy out on Twitter, right? And check out his Twitter feed. It is a proper fucking. The entire thing is just a Corbyn hit piece. Now the thing is, it's weird that that the CFI and the LFI actually work close together to get the same ideas. They see, as long as they're friends of Israel, that there's no political discourse that needs. So surely there should be, you know, a pro-Palestinian idea, especially from the left. But the LFI doesn't see that song because it's friends of Israel. So it's weird. So what do you guys think? Do you think it still counts as a conspiracy? It shouldn't really, should it?
It does, yeah. You talk about this more than anyone else. David Dyke. You know what he says? He believes that this Israel is there to trigger a Third World War at the Middle East. And they were supposed to quit Israel. That originated from the First World War. And this is why the West supports Israel. Because apparently, according to Ike, the establishment want to trigger a world war that would justify a World War government. Because it'd be so devastating. The leaders of the world would say, right, let's prevent this, let's have a one world government. And so that's the theory, basically. From Mike.
Someone's got massive feedback somewhere. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Cameron, turn your mic down a little bit, mate. I think it's you.
I was just going to say, I don't think it helps the situation when you have people like Donald Trump that have decided to put the US embassy in Jerusalem as opposed to Tel Aviv. I mean, that exacerbates the situation, doesn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't incredibly constructive, but it was meant as satire, you know, for fuck's sake. I mean, because Trump had no fucking right to do that in the first place. I mean, that was just.
Well, I think he was encouraged by someone because he clearly doesn't have a clue, like, reasons to do things. I think someone must have told him, and he was like, "Okay, I'll do that because it seems like a good idea."
Well, he probably didn't know anybody lived on the West Bank. I mean, that's his problem because, you know, as far as he's concerned, or as far as I understand it, America doesn't recognize Palestine. Right? So they didn't recognize it as a country. So, you know, why would he care that anybody lives there? You know, they're just sheep herders, and you know, who would have thought there'd be families there? I mean, that's just
he doesn't care because they're all brown people.
Yeah, well, that as well. You know,
don't give a shit. Immigrants, terrorists. I don't live there. It's not happening to me. So everyone in Jerusalem and Palestine can go themselves.
Yeah,
That's the attitude, and it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah. So anyway, what I want from the side chat quickly is with my conspiracy theory, according to IHRA, whatever the fucking rules are, was I being anti-Semitic? Right, which is the first thing. Bubblevis just joins us at the end there. Was I being anti-Semitic? Right. And the second thing is, what do you think, guys? Do I get 1 thumb up, 2 thumb up? There is blatantly a political motive? Like, not sure about financials, social, maybe because it means that you can't. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's like a mixture of political and social. I mean, it's definitely got legs.
It's got legs, is it?
Mm-hmm.
How many? They have more than 2. Is it like a? It's got 2. Definitely got 2 thumbs.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nice one, Rowan. What do you think, Cameron?
I'll give you 2 thumbs up on this. So,
thank you.
It's definitely a lot of influence.
Nice.
So all of our conspiracies has been given thumbs up. Has been given credence.
Yeah, definitely. I've been there. They've been quite good, actually. Really, really interesting. Thank you, to you guys on the panel. I mean, we could like bullshit here and wait for Angels. I'm not sure how long she's going to take, to be honest.
We'll probably be waiting here for hours.
Another past experience, I'll say. Should be at midnight.
Well, I'm sorry. We could sit here and bullshit for another 15 minutes. You know, that's fine with me. But much after that, I'm gonna have to go.
We could talk about the Bermuda Triangle, and I had another brief conspiracy theory which I came across. In that, how did the Stonehenge get to be where it is?
Oh, there's some more information just come out about this recently. I didn't get a chance. It was a thing I was going to do with my students. But I was talking about Stonehenge today actually with another set of my students because just a thing in the book, you know. But yeah, Stonehenge it's great, man. I love Stonehenge.
I've never been there actually. It's actually like not that far from where I am it's in Wiltshire, isn't it?
It is indeed Salisbury, in fact. So go there. Summer solstice, time to go, isn't it? Like thousands of people. Yeah. You know,
I'll go winter solstice. Okay.
Hippies and crusties all over the place, mate. You'd love it, mate. Right up your street.
Yeah. I'd actually really like to do that at some point.
No,
Pagans and hippies and witnessing the sun come up. Yeah. But like the whole, like a whole conspiracy is how did they get the big rocks and stones there when the stones that pretend to come from there don't actually come from that area of
the UK. They come from South Wales, man.
They come from somewhere else, and also it was a couple of 100 years before they invented the wheel. So how did they move them?
They put them on tree logs, apparently. Well, but again, doesn't really hold water. There are some ideas that they used vibro levitation. So they had these big horns, and it's basically like the brown noise. You know, there's a noise that makes you shit yourself. It's a bit like that, but it levitates rock.
What? There's a what?
The brown
A
noise.
noise?
Yeah.
I've not heard of that before.
What? Never heard of the noise that makes you shit yourself?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, like apparently there's.
Don't
this...
say it now.
No, I'm not going. I'm not even going to broadcast it. But you need to have the speakers to pick it up, and most speakers aren't capable of it. There's a certain wavelength apparently that makes you shit yourself. But so imagine if there's this wavelength that can make you shit yourself. If you go like certain like down the frequencies or up the frequency, I assume it'd be down the frequencies. I don't know. I just assume it'd be a bass type noise rather than a higher,
like vibrations within your body that create.
Well, there are these sound waves that create levitation. I mean, it's fair enough you can transport the rocks, right? So you got all these rocks sitting there, right?
Yeah.
But when you've got like two and then one across, how the fuck did they get the one across the top? That's what I want to know. I didn't use that using wheels, did they?
Ropes and pulleys.
Really? A 25-ton rock.
That's the only thing I can think of. Well, because how did they move the rocks for the pyramids?
Because they built it from the top down, therefore it's easier when they put the top ones in.
Yeah, still it's quite heavy.
You have an idea what I just said? Like,
weren't we talking about how to move rocks?
How can you build a pyramid from the top down, you muppet?
I completely missed that.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, okay. So fair enough. You know, the rocks there, and you know, you think, how do you get
that
the thing
deliberate, or
across
did you just say that by accident?
No. I was just taking a piss out of you. Sorry, but it was a bit evil, to be fair. But you know, so you know, you put your two, like, you know, pillars there. How do you get the one across the top? That's the bit I don't understand. Well, apart from all the other shit, apart from carving them out of the living rock, traveling them like, you know, 150 miles, and then erecting them, and then like moving them circle certain place, so that when the sun rises on the summer solstice, right, it goes particularly between two fucking rocks. God knows how they fucking did it 7,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, whatever.
Well, through some of experiences, since when aliens, they've got good technology. They're actually
alien technology, yeah, maybe. Right. This is
because of the pyramids. Because look at the pyramid, the line with the Orion constellation.
Yeah.
Which is the area where the Great Aliens are meant to be from. So that's the interesting thing.
It is. And you know, these are megalithic structures, and these stones are engineered to within a millimeter of perfection, and it's fucking crazy, you know, absolutely crazy. But yeah, like I said, the stones in Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, are probably the most amazing because they've actually been dated. The thing is about you know, the pyramids and things like that, and maybe if they actually move the stones, like, they'll be able to date Stonehenge properly. But the thing is about Göbekli Tepe is that they found between the stones, they actually found vegetation, which means they've actually been able to carbon date them, and they are 10,000 BC, and they are proper megaliths. So, like, you know, thousands of tons, rather than tens or 20s or hundreds. These are proper megaliths, and that's proper crazy. And this is 12,000 years old. You know, 10,000 BC, which is before society is supposed to have started. You know, and why would you have you know, proper engineering abilities, or stonemasonry.
Aliens.
Yeah. Fucking aliens, mate. Fucking aliens.
You understand this civilizations rise and fall.
Yeah.
There could be. I mean, maybe we don't know much about anything past 10,000 BC because of cataclysm. I tried to do this earlier, but lots of people think something happened about that period. Some people say a pole shift, some people say a flood, the Noah's flood.
Yeah.
Because that's the ice age and the sea levels rose,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is my theory. That's because the theory of the idea of Noah's flood came from the area that was flooded.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Black Sea area, basically. That's where that story comes from. That's what most scholars agree. Which was a lake for 10,000 BC.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Like the Younger Dryas, which is where there was supposed to be some kind of major heating of the major ice caps. Bearing in mind that the ice caps stretched down all the way through Canada, most of northern England, obviously, all the way through Sweden, and most of Britain as well, and all that like basically thawed within the space of like 100 years. You know, major amounts of ice. You know, kilometers of ice thawed. So there was a major flooding. Whether there was a boat that had animals on it 2x2, I should have no idea. I mean, that's obviously all bullshit.
Yeah, that was from metaphors.
But there was a flood, though. There was a flood. I mean, that's something that we can all agree on.
The location of where Noah's Flood meant to be is at my Arat in Armenia, which is not far from the Black Sea. And the Black Sea basically doubles in size during that period, and it was a lake.
Okay, I've got an update from Angels. So she's having internet troubles, and the thing is, she really wants to finish her OMH370 conspiracy. She's actually on the phone to BT right now, which I really feel sorry for her. There's a fucking conspiracy in itself. Like, can you ever get through to BT and get some sense out of them?
I think it's not Sky.
Yeah. All right. So she said. So she's asked me, does she want me to do it for her, or she can do it next time, or we can wait for a bit and we just bullshit for a bit if you like. We can bullshit for a bit, shall we?
I don't mind. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We have time. Okay, cool. We have time. But yeah. No, I mean, yeah, there was a major flood, you know, and it was about 10,000 years ago. No, sorry, 12,000 years ago, 10,000 BC, and it's weird, like coming out of that, that there are certain places in the earth where with these megalithic structures. So, the pyramids, the Göbekli Tepe and some other places in South America as well, that actually all line up to the same time to point towards this one point in time. You know, the same star chart. They point towards the same star constellation at the same time in the same years. You know, and that's just fucking weird, man. Just fucking weird. Like, once you can say, yeah, okay, yeah, it's just fluke. But if you go beyond that, and it's like, they're continents apart, and they're all pointing to the same place, that's just fucking weird.
It sort of feels like they're, I don't know, it feels like they're preparing themselves for something to happen, or like waiting for something to happen. And like it's some sort of intergalactic space thing. But has some sort of relationship to, like, they must have had some sort of understanding of stars and space, and I can't explain it, but
yeah, exactly. I mean, they had the precession of the equinox. They knew what went down there. Was it it moves every 27,000 years or something to do a complete cycle, you know, and that and these are the figures that they had in mind when they were building their whatever they were they so Graham Hancock thinks that there were schools for things like engineering and to instill in their in their what's the word, architecture, laws of mathematics and science and astronomy, you know. So because things like texts and ways of communication, stories, they lose certain facts and ideas. Whereas if you could engineer school lessons or school classes through your architecture, then that would last for, and they knew this, through millennia. You know? And
smart.
Mate, it's fucking genius. If it's true, it's fucking genius. But the thing is, it doesn't help that there are certain sections of, for instance, in the underpassages of Egypt in Cairo, that nobody outside a certain select people, they just can't go there. Like no Westerner can go there. No, not allowed. It's forbidden. You know, and that's again why. What are they hiding? Why would they hide this?
Is it because it's like a lot of the things there are like too precious, or
But why would you not allow someone that's wanting to study? I think it's more with regards to it could maybe have a contradiction with the current ruling religion, maybe. So that's the only thing I can think of personally, and that's something that I've thought of. I mean, I've got no fucking evidence, but look at the fucking title of the video. I mean, shit. Like,
yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, that's certainly, it's really interesting to, I mean, that's what makes it so intriguing, is that we just don't know.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's where
did
the conspiracy theories breed, isn't it? Where in grey areas, isn't it? So,
But like even I think it's even more intriguing when you look into things that happened, or like the reason behind buildings or structures that existed or have existed for thousands and thousands of years. It's because you can't ask anyone, and there's no documents that are written about it, so you'll not ever know. Whereas if you ask people about like the Tower 7 or the Kennedy assassination, there are still people living that remember that, and there have been documents written about these things. So there's always possibility of knowing 100% what actually happened. Whereas, you know, monoliths like Stonehenge or Machu Picchu, you
yeah,
don't ever know.
yeah, right. This is it. I mean, I can't. There are some weird things in the pyramids, and there are some dating discrepancies with the Sphinx and the actual pyramid. I mean, we can talk about the pyramids all fucking day, man. I mean, they're just fucking weird. But the Sphinx, they say, has been there for a lot longer than the pyramids, like by thousands and thousands of years, just because it has erosion patterns that are known to be caused by rain or continuous rain. Now, it hasn't rained continuously in Egypt for at least 12,000 years, for instance.
Mm. But would that explain why the nose is missing?
I know, there are multiple theories on that. Like, so.
No, this is recorded actually. Egyptian Pharaoh actually modified the Sphinx to make it look like his face. Originally, it makes it look like a lion, his face, like the rest of his body. Well, Egyptian Pharaoh basically changed it for a moment. That's why its nose basically missing.
Oh yeah, there's another one. Like, it was. Did you say target practice? It was used as target practice.
No, Egyptian Pharaoh, I forgot his name now. Basically remodeled the Sphinx about 3,000 years ago. And the reason for it is because he wants the Sphinx to look like him as opposed to a lion. Alright, we're on there. Now got angels back. We swapped.
And now we're just lost Rowan. Oh my god!
I know, I am so sorry. Really, like, honestly, the moment that I'm invited onto a stream, like, my internet starts playing up and cutting out. So I do apologise to everyone.
Okay, cool. So can you remember? Let's get straight back into it. Oh no, let's maybe we were thinking that you were sabotaged by some kind of Malaysian mafia people.
It's all right. Rowan's rejoined now. I apparently kicked her out when I returned.
Oh right.
Hey, sorry.
Hi.
I kept getting like massive feedback, so I had to just leave and then come back in.
That's all right. I wanted to. Were you sort of continuing with something, or can I resume my MH370?
We were just talking pyramids, and the thing is about the pyramids and megalithic structures around the world, we can literally just sit here and bullshit about it. So it's better you chip in now and just talk about it. Do you remember?
I will. Yeah, I do. It won't take me long anyway. I obviously gave you the background of the flight that went missing in 2014.
You want to give us a quick recap?
Yeah, so basically the Malaysia flight MH370 that went missing in 2014 had over 230 passengers on it, all from various different locations. It disappeared on a flight, I believe, from Kuala Lumpur, when suddenly all communications were cut off with it. It was then militarily tracked, but then disappeared even off the military radar and has never been found since. So I mean, certain wreckage has been found that apparently could be associated with that particular plane, but it hasn't been proven to be from it. There was no floating wreckage found. There was no, obviously, luggage, bodies, nothing. It literally just disappeared. And I mean, that's a fucking difficult thing to happen to a Boeing 777, you know? So there are multiple conspiracy theories about it, obviously due to the fact that this just simply does not happen. It's like they call it aviation's sort of greatest mystery, basically. So the first one, which I think I covered before I left, there's a theory that the pilot did a murder-suicide thing, you know, much like there was that Austria, the plane crash in the Alps. I think it was an Austrian guy. Do you remember? And then he was aware and he flew into the thing. Yeah, killed himself and killed everyone else. It was sort of implied that that's what this guy had done. Also, what was discovered afterwards is that over the town in which he was born, the flight actually made a very sort of like it essentially flew left in and directly over where he was born. So they've tried to spin it as if it potentially might have been him turning the plane to take one last look at his hometown before he basically downed the entire flight in the ocean. I don't know.
Surely they would have been able to find it, right? if that's
well, that's
true.
what I would think, which is why I don't give that a lot of credence. But I'll go through the theories, and you guys can like give me your thoughts on it. So the theories on how and why the flight, it's the entire plane, you know, your Boeing 777 with hundreds of people disappeared.
Bolts of it. This is what we missed last time. Now we're on the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So the theory one is that it was actually shot down. So apparently, because in March, a man claimed that he had found the wreckage of MH370 using Google Earth. I'll actually read a little bit of this article to you. It isn't long. I'll just pick up the bits that are relevant. Peter McMahon, a mechanical engineer and amateur crash investigator, spent years combing the Indian Ocean on Google Earth and looking for the plane. According to Mr. McMahon, the wreckage of the flight, which he claims is riddled with bullet holes, is located just a few miles south of Round Island, which is governed by Mauritius, in an area of the ocean that has not been searched by crews. McMahon took his claims one step further, the site adds, by saying he also believed US officials were refusing to search the area and were withholding information from the public. He has said they do not want it found because it's full of bullet holes. Finding it will only open another inquiry.
Who put the bullet holes in there?
Well, exactly. If that indeed is true, because it says Malaysian Transport Minister Liao Tiong Lai, I'm probably massacring his name.
Lai Chong Lai.
Yeah. Has rubbished McMahon's claims and said that the images McMahon circulated had also been analysed by the Civil Aviation Authority Malaysia, which apparently found his claims to be baseless. Anyway, what happened to flight MH370, which disappeared mid-flight in March 2014, has become one of the world's greatest aviation mysteries, and the huge gap in reliable information about the aircraft's fate has been filled with suggestions from armchair sleuths. Aviation experts, authors, and conspiracy theorists. So the first one is shot down. The second, which
sorry, can we? All right, before we go on, can we judge each one? Right.
Yeah, sure. So what do you think the likelihood of it having been shot down is?
No. Sorry, I'm not into that one.
No, I'm very skeptical of that, because also when a plane is shot down, the wreckage, first of all, there would be the evidence there, you know, and there would most certainly be wreckage.
Yeah, definitely.
Isn't there meant to be like a little black box?
Yeah.
It contains like the radar information.
Indeed.
The thing is though, about all this, about being shut down, it could be as middle of the ocean in a location where it could not be spotted. And then you gotta remember, so like 90% of the ocean is unexplored. So I think it could be shut down, it's still there.
But the thing is, Cameron, because if it were shot down, or indeed if it crashed, because apparently the velocity at which a plane would
hit the water.
That it hits it like concrete, so there would still be floating wreckage, which has never ever been found.
But in that case, then, maybe the plane fell, and then because there are stretches of ocean, I'm not saying this could be true, but there are stretches of ocean that the water depth is so deep that the pressure is like basically unexplorable, because the pressure would get too much that like it would crush a person.
Yeah. Wasn't there a news story about last year about fire wreckage off the coast of Madagascar that could be from
it? They said it could be from it, but that there's no proof that it is. So it could easily apparently have been from a different time. They also, when they explored it, I believe they seem to have thought that it had been in the ocean or ever longer than when the crash happened, or that when the plane disappeared. So I'm not quite sure about that. I don't really believe the pirate. Well, I don't even know why I said that. I don't believe the suicidal pilot thing for some weird reason. It doesn't.
Oh, hang
fit,
on,
like...
hang on. Before you move on to number 2, right? So on being shot down, thumbs up from Rowan. 2 thumbs up. Oh, 2 thumbs down. That's 4 out of 4 so far. What do you reckon, Cameron? 2 thumbs up, 1 thumb up, 2 thumbs down.
I think I put 1 thumb up.
I would say 2 thumbs. For me, I personally think it's 2 thumbs down. I don't believe it was shot down.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there would be a major like political incident. We did with the second plane that was actually shot down, and it was even.
And then what's the other explanation?
Political. It was really politically spiky at the time. So yeah, there's no. It doesn't fit our motives or anything. So no, I really don't get it.
Right? Could you do the thumbs up then, bearing in mind the pilot had no history of mental health disorder, no depression, etc., according to his family at least. What do you think about the murder-suicide thing? So basically deliberately crashing the plane after taking one last look at his hometown and then plunging it into the Indian Ocean randomly, out of the blue, when he was acting perfectly normally.
Well, there's mental health a lot of the time is very invisible. I don't know why he would decide to take his passengers with him, because that's like that makes no sense.
Yeah. And like, by all accounts, that would be extremely out of character for him. And it wasn't only a few people that said that. It was pretty much everyone who knew him, everyone from work, all his family, like everyone.
The only slight thumb up on that one is that he would have the aviational knowledge to make the plane,
to dodge radars and to
made the plane untraceable. That's the only slight, but yeah, it doesn't fit the narrative. Doesn't fit the narrative for me. Sorry.
What about you two guys? What do you think about the murder-suicide thing with the pilot?
No, I doubt it. Absolutely. On that one, I will give a 2 thumbs down.
Really, and you gave 1 thumb up for the shooting down. Like,
yes.
Why? I still don't know why. Go on, tell us why. Go on, Cameron.
Because first, the thing about taking his own life and taking the precious women make no sense.
Yeah.
If I don't think that plane would have really gone down, the pilot. Something that I don't want you to know, perhaps.
Yeah, I see what you mean. So what you're saying is the possibility that it would be shot down because a certain person was on board, or because there was something that essentially the government didn't want someone to know.
So was it fine? Was it fine to Beijing? So I remember.
It was from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing, I think.
Well, it's
right. That's perfect. That's perfect.
It's Kuala Lumpur.
That's perfect. What's going through my head right now.
So
now,
generally they fly or out of Kuala Lumpur. So,
So yeah, between in the sea between that area, there's something called the I said before, the Midway Triangle, Pacific Triangle.
The Bermuda Triangle.
No,
it's a specific version of the Bermuda Triangle.
Is there another version of it? Because I had read about that as well.
Yeah, there's also another factor to take account. The South China Sea is the most. The South China Sea is the most disputed area of ocean on the planet. Right?
Oh.
The Chinese government is literally building artificial islands to solidify its claims.
So it actually could have been, and nobody would really know.
It could have been.
But what I'm saying is that, again, the lack of any wreckage, like any floating wreckage after a shoot down, it's really identifiable normally. So I don't see, that would still be kind of unusual. But anyway, we've given our judgments on the first 2. Can I bring up the other one?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the next theory is that it was a remote cyber hijacking.
Interesting.
So Norman Davies, who's a technology expert, designed to prevent another 9/11 style terror attack by allowing planes to be controlled remotely. Right, and so this has been a thing for a while now anyway, and apparently that system, according to this theory, could have been actually exploited, rigged and or hacked by sort of cyber hijackers basically. So it could have been controlled without the pilots, like as in he couldn't manually override it. So they could have taken control of it and flown it in a completely different direction in order to murder people on board or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think about that theory?
I need more details. You got any more details on it?
Yeah, it says hold on. I'm gonna read out a little bit.
Yeah.
So the guy who basically designed that entire system for remote control of planes in the first place says he suggests MH370, which was equipped with Boeing's Honeywell uninterruptible autopilot onboard computer, could have been hacked and then reprogrammed and flown to a secret location. He told the Sunday Times the plane may have been carrying sensitive material or personnel to Beijing, making it the subject of 2 kidnap attempts.
Interesting. I did hear that there were some proper diplomats on the plane, which is something.
There were diplomats on board, yeah.
So, yeah, but it seems weird that unless there were some ransoms or some. So, have there been any political consequences due to this?
As far as I'm aware, no, but I do know that those individuals were on board. But also it says, which is probably worthwhile reading out, it says the first kidnap was by the Americans who wanted to stop the plane getting to Beijing and planned to divert it to Diego Garcia, which is essentially like another Area 51. It says, a US naval base in the Indian Ocean. And then somebody hacked it to stop it from getting there. Several other theories back up this possibility.
It's an assassination attempt, essentially.
Yeah, basically.
Well, they succeeded, unless there was some kind of political.
Several other theories back up this possibility, pointing to the widely held belief that the official cargo manifest detailing what was actually on the Boeing 777 was wrong. And while it seems taken straight out of a modern-day spy film, a similar theory has been touted previously.
Mate, that's definitely 2 thumbs up from me. Mate.
Yeah, do you reckon? Yeah, because that's actually weirdly believable, even though it's far-fetched.
Yeah. Well, my theory is aliens, so yeah, it's much better than my theory.
I think what I will say is that I think there's shit going on that we don't know about, and like countries are speaking to each other under the radar, and stuff's going on, and it's all really
under the radar. Hoo-ha. No pun intended.
Really
right, Rowan?
Like proper like proper MI5 sort of, like, bigger than MI5 even, or aliens.
Yeah, or alien. Which one? Thumbs up for theory 3, and that it was a sophisticated assassination attempt.
I would say, well, if I could quickly go first, I would say that is weirdly believable. So I'm going to give it 1 thumbs up and 1 thumbs down.
Why do you get 1 thumb down for
because it's also it would be extremely difficult to remotely control a plane with that many passengers and stuff, and then sort of.
But it wasn't a modern plane though. This is the thing. 777 is not a modern plane. We lost Rowan again. It wasn't like who knows to take control of a plane like that. Like it is old. She's back. I don't know. So is it a tech thing, do you think, that you get 1 thumb down?
That's why because I don't understand tech terribly well, I know it would be excessively difficult to actually carry that off. So that's what makes me skeptical. So that's why I'm like half heart. So yeah, 1 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down from me, I think.
Cameron?
It's very interesting idea for it. It's very plausible. Also, I have thought span out. Do you go see it's a British overseas territory, not American base. It's a British base.
Okay, the article got it wrong then. Just got it
yeah.
in front of me.
Well, yeah,
I think it's American presence then, but it's a British base, British territory, British base. But
ex-territory.
I'm gonna say it's the most plausible out of all the theories. So for this, I'm gonna put 2 thumbs up, even though it sounds very far-fetched.
Yeah, because it is sort of plausible. Like I see what you mean.
I agree. I think it is feasible, but at the same time, it's highly doubtable as well.
Well, there were certain diplomats on board, so that's what
exactly, that bolsters it, sort of thing.
What I will say though is what is quite creepy is that recently I was watching, I think it was a YouTube video or some website where they had it was photographs of people just before they died. I know that's quite a morbid topic, but yeah.
Why are you looking at that?
Just because I'm like proper into like really dark stuff like that, and so for example they had people who climb up onto like really high bridges and take photos of themselves and then like fall off them and die. And there was a photo of 2 people that took a picture of themselves on the what was it,
MH370
MH370 plane before it took off, and they must have sent it to someone because otherwise we wouldn't have it.
Oh, that's
now,
awful.
but...
And then they were just never seen again.
Yeah, that's sad.
Awful.
Yeah.
Listen, going to right. So we've got a 1 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down from me and from Rowan as well, and then 2 thumbs up from the you two.
Yeah. That's
because it is plausible in some
all
ways.
the theories I've heard, like
it's the most believable so far.
Totally. It's better than my theory anyway.
Well, you know, we've just got 2 left. The other one is called the grid of energy, which is what Cameron was referencing, which is basically like the Bermuda Triangle. I'll just read out the grid of energy just to give people background on it. It says, one unusual theory bases its claims on the presumed location of where the MH370 went down. Adherents to the grid of energy theory believe that the Boeing 777 crashed on a vortex energy point in the Earth's secret free energy grid. Illuminati Watcher says. I mean, of course, Illuminati Watcher would say that.
That's a free energy grid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you muted yourself.
Sorry, yeah, I just had to mute myself a sec. It's so essentially what there's this claim that there's this particular area of which the plane actually flew over that has it is, as I said, like a free energy sort of point, and has a lot more gravitational sort of, basically gravitational sort of freaks of nature that where there are loads more accidents than normal. It's not really proven, so I don't find that very credible. I don't know about you.
Well, it doesn't explain the fact that there is no way of tracking the plane. It doesn't explain unless the electromagnetism interfered with
affected the tracking devices. But I just, it doesn't sound very plausible to me. And also this alleged free energy area or whatever is completely and utterly unproven. So it's almost like the theory has been plucked out of the air.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally. No, I don't.
So to me, it's 2 thumbs down.
Well, yeah. Adam West says death ray. Yeah, and the black box, it doesn't explain the black box.
No, exactly. Usually
they're in a the black boxes are usually in a Faraday cage, so they're protected against this kind of shit.
They are, aren't they? Yeah. And they're floatable or whatever as well, so that you can find like what happened in the last moments of the flight before a plane crash. That's the whole point. Then,
if you believe what they say in Red Dwarf, is that all black boxes are made out of the same shit that dolls are made out of? Because whenever you see any tragic moment in any movie when a plane crashes, there's always like this burning husk of a dough, and so it seems to be completely indestructible. That they decide to make all Starbucks and all black boxes out of the same material. So, yeah, these black boxes are indestructible. That's indeed. Black
So
box.
to me, but to me, exactly, and lots of stuff surrounding that theory doesn't really add up. So I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs down. And then I have one final theory.
Hang on. We haven't put it to the panel yet. What do you reckon on that one, Cameron?
I'm gonna say 1 for
1 thumb up.
Oh,
Yeah, 1 thumb up.
Yeah.
I will give it 2 thumbs down. I don't think that's.
I don't.
A good
So
reason.
I'm interested. Yeah, me too. I'm 2 thumbs down. I'm interested why you get 1 thumb up, like from Cameron.
I think it's very plausible. There's so weird thing about a story that something that as far-fetched as this could be very possible. I mean, we have this. Remember, we have things like this all the time in places like the Bermuda Triangle and across the globe.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say maybe, just maybe.
Maybe, baby. Okay, fair enough.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So we got 1 thumb up out of all of us. So we tend to find it on the whole very implausible. Fair play. Now the final theory, I saved the best till last because this is proper tinfoil hat time.
Is that aliens?
It was the aliens what done it, yeah. Basically, the flight was allegedly taken and in order to be probed, etc., and to be looked at by an extraterrestrial force of some sort, which is why it literally vanished into thin air. It was basically beamed up, Scotty.
Or it flew into an alternate universe or dimension in.
Yeah, into a different dimension.
But
Yeah, exactly.
Who created that X like that window?
So is it extraterrestrial? Do you think? What do you think the likelihood of potentially the aliens having taken it for various research purposes or what have you? If they indeed exist, you never know though, do you?
I'm very much of the opinion that aliens do exist.
I am as well. Yeah, I think so.
Beyond the shadow of a doubt. I mean, it sounds
extremely
arrogant of us. It seems extremely arrogant of us to assume that we're the only people in this universe.
I mean, if you think about the scale as well, mathematically, it adds up more that there would be other life, way more than there wouldn't be.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. I mean, I believe in like ghosts are real, so why would it make sense that aliens can be real too?
Well,
I mean, I don't believe in ghosts. Oh God, this is like another conspiracy stream.
Oh yeah, totally. Let's keep it on.
We'll keep it on topic though. So anyway, thumbs up or down for it. It was the aliens what done it. I'm gonna give it 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down. Oh God.
You suggested you just said that you believe in aliens, but don't believe.
I believe in aliens, but I don't believe they hijacked MH370.
Yeah, you believe that there's moon bases on the dark side of the moon.
Yes, but I still don't. But I still don't think that flight was hijacked by aliens.
All right.
It just doesn't ring true to me, so I'm just going to give it 2 thumbs down.
To be fair, right, I would say that option 3 was so good, which was, the
cyber hijacking and then
cyber hijacking, yeah. Because of the passages on board, and because of the tech that's available. The only thing that really stresses me out is the quality of the tech on board of the plane at the time. So I would say they would need someone on board, and again, that's completely plausible. So I'm more option 3 than option 5. That is the aliens.
Yeah.
Aliens what done it.
Yeah. I'm gonna say 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down, purely because I think it's a bit preposterous that aliens could have hijacked a plane, but also that it's not entirely impossible either.
Yes,
And we
yeah,
can't prove
I
otherwise.
would give it. I did. So the only option for me, because I give Aliens one thumb up, just because you know
Just because they're aliens, isn't it?
yeah, just because they're aliens and they've got previous for abducting planes and shit. Like, look at fucking First World and Second World War history, mate. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's true. What about you, Cam?
One thumb up. Because tell you what, if the aliens did this, how can you prove they're not? How can you prove they didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
but that's
If it's so advanced, right? What else would they leave behind? Apparently, we see no evidence of this flight and what happened to it. So that's me one thumbs up.
Mm.
I mean, I really don't
Yeah, you're
believe
right.
That is.
You're
that
right.
is.
Actually,
Fuck you,
the
Cameron. Why do you bastard? All right, okay. Option 5 gets 2 thumbs up just because Cameron.
just all right. That's fair play. But like I said, two thumbs down for me. I don't know whether I buy into this. Like it was the aliens what hijacked MH370. But keep an eye on the side chat because I'm on my phone. I can't see it.
Oh no, but sorry, we're because of the particular style of this stream. It was I have been keeping one eye on it, but there's but thank you to everybody that's joined us for this stream. Even there's only like 2 people. Like
Yeah.
Adam Rest, Death Ray, Well Shafted. Thank you. It's been fun seeing you guys here.
Yeah, and I apologise for my internet issues, but
no, it's great. It's great because to have you back, like you said, you've done some research, and there were so many theories that. So I was glad.
Yeah.
I'm actually really happy we waited. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that I got to the point of it, but it remains a mystery, which is probably why it's so it's such a big conspiracy topic. Yeah, it's bizarre. I mean, people say, "Oh no," but it could easily have then gone into the ocean, and then and it's like, but even then, like, had that happened, there would be much more identifiable wreckage.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a shame that you missed the conspiracy theories of Rowan and Cameron.
I know. It's a shame, but I will join next time. Hopefully, my internet won't be so crap. So,
is there going to be a next time? Is there going to be a next time? Obviously, this something is.
Obviously, there's always new conspiracy theories coming up every day.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
I just thought of another one, but I don't think it's got.
We'll keep it, save it, research it, and then maybe there'll be a part 4 if you want to be on the panel in part 4. And of course, this invitation extends to anybody who wants to be a part of part 4 on the panel, talking about your favorite conspiracy. You've heard what we've heard. You've seen and heard what we thought tonight, and we've spoke about it, we've chatted about it, we've debated about it. Condense it to a question and pose it to a panel of your peers. So, guys, sign off. I'm going to go to Cameron first because I always forget him. So, Cameron, sign off.
Thank you for everyone. And I'll say bye to everyone watching the stream. Hopefully, you found out what I was interested. But
Mate, it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I could have gone for a lot longer on it, but
we did actually spend more on your conspiracy than anything else. So you know.
Yeah. I've a lot more to say than what I said.
Yeah, no shit. Maybe me and you should do a video just on that shit. You know? So
yeah, I'd watch that.
You'd watch that? Oh, nice one,
yeah.
Rowan. So Rowan, sign off. Yours was very interesting. Gave some new directions to the JFK assassination. So
yeah. Oh, thanks everyone for watching. In the side chat as well. Yeah, thanks. Pretty much it.
Oh,
Stop taking the piss.
I'm sorry. Love you, Rowan. Absolutely love you.
I know.
I've not
Who
been
doesn't? She's lovely.
Yeah. Angels, where the fuck were you, mate?
Yeah. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who did bother watching, and again I apologise for my internet issues. Unfortunately, unavoidable. So, but at least it appears I'm touching wood right now, and not that type of wood. Before you give me some. But hopefully it seems to be a bit more stable. So hopefully it doesn't happen next time. But yeah, thanks again, everyone, and obviously thanks to Chamchi for hosting us all. And there probably will be a part 4. There's loads of juicy conspiracy theories out there.
Well, you know, so long as there's an audience, then I'll, you know, we'll keep doing them, I suppose. Yeah, I find them funny, and you know, it's always good to debate this shit. Thank you.
And I mean, even if like lots of them are largely bullshit, it's still quite. It's still.
It's still. Oh, she's gone again.
She's abducted by aliens.
Oh yeah.
So gay.
Blatantly aliens. Blatantly, it's the aliens who've done it. Well,
but like I think we slightly neglected the elephants in the room, in that there are people involved in these disappearances actually suffered and feel sorry for the families of.
Yeah. Bubblevis, you said, are you on Gab at Chamchi Gimbab? All right, let's if you've got time, guys, here, like, got a bit of time. Let's talk to people that are actually still there. Bubblevis asked me, are you on Gab? What is Gab? I don't know.
It's like the alt-right version of Twitter.
No. Twitter takes up far too much of my life as it is, you know. So, yeah, no, it's no chance, mate.
Just as I said, my internet was all right. It just cut out momentarily.
Yeah, what the fuck
that's so
is
annoying.
It's the free speech Twitter. Yeah. All right. Okay. No. Twitter is too much as it is. So yeah. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and fuck off. Really. Thank you to my panelists. Thank you to Cameron. Thank you to Angels. Thank you to Rowdog, who's absolutely disappeared, and we get a nice picture of her bookshelf. So yeah, I'm gonna end this stream anyway. Thank you very much, guys. Bye.
Yes, bye.
Bye.
Guys, stay on.
Yeah, we will.